So, Chris, most people who come on this podcast have a long injury history with their back pain. You have a bit of a different story. So, what is the context of the past 2 years of what led you to having back pain in your life?
2 years ago, I was diagnosed with stage 4 liver cancer. It's a certain type of cancer called fibrolamellar carcinoma. It's very interesting because I was never sick. I was never unhealthy. I mean, I did eat pretty bad, but I don't think that's the reason why I was diagnosed ultimately. But I was a very fit guy. I was always in the gym, and that was just the last thing I expected because I was very feeling kind of weird in these months coming up to my diagnosis. And when I went into the hospital, they actually were like, yeah, you have cancer. And I remember that specific moment because after that, I just blacked out and I went crazy. I started attacking doctors. I was like in a full on
Oh, really?
psychosis. Yeah. My ammonia was up to like 300. Ammonia is like a neurotoxin that your liver is supposed to filter out. My liver couldn't filter it out. So here I am, big buff dude, just attacking doctors. They
Yeah.
were trying to restrain me. I remember moments from it where I thought that someone was trying to kill me,
Yeah.
and I was trying to run away from the hospital. And it was just my brain not knowing what to do. And after this whole thing happened, my doctors had to start chemo right away just so my liver, the cancer on my liver, could actually shrink.
Yeah.
So my brain could actually start functioning again. Once I was like good, I woke up. They had told me that I had started chemo already because I remember I was in a lot of pain.
And you didn't even know.
No, I didn't know. I didn't
Wow.
have a say in it because it was either that or I die.
Yeah.
So they had to ultimately start chemo. Um, yeah, this entire year where I was diagnosed to when I had my surgery, it was a lot of chemo. I was sick because of the chemo. I felt like I was being poisoned, but I knew that if I didn't get into that gym, I was gonna be weak. I was gonna be sick all the time. I was gonna be sad and depressed.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing a lot of people don't realize is that when you're not moving, you're ultimately just like tearing yourself down. You're tearing your mind down because you're not doing anything. So now you're just in this lazy mode.
Mm.
You're just sluggish and you don't feel like doing anything. You don't want to brush your teeth. You don't want to
Yeah.
take a shower, and you just kind of start like existing in your own like little shell, and you can't break out of it. But if you force yourself to start doing something, start running, start walking, day to day tasks become so much easier. You start
Mm.
wanting to do stuff. You start wanting to live. And I think that's what allowed me to just keep fighting with me, even just pushing myself to go to the gym. And I'm so glad that I enjoyed the gym because if it weren't for me enjoying the gym and loving powerlifting, loving bodybuilding, they wouldn't have been able to perform this surgery. Which when I got the chance to do this surgery, the doctors told me you have to build as much muscle as you can because it's going to be hard for you.
Yeah.
And if it weren't for the amount of muscle mass I had, they wouldn't have been able to push the surgery to 23 hours. And during the surgery, they they were just slicing and dicing away at my organs. Like I got like 2 parts of my liver removed. I had my spleen removed. I had my gallbladder removed. I had a lot of nerves in my stomach, some of my rectum, some of my intestines removed. And they put hot chemo in my system. It's called heated chemotherapy, and they put a tube in the top of my stomach and the bottom of my stomach. And this heated chemo is just being like, it's just coming in and draining out, coming in and draining out. But it stays in my system for 3 months. So when I woke up from that surgery, I was in excruciating pain. I felt like I just got hit by a train.
Yeah.
That's the best I could word it. I just got hit by a train. And the first thing that they told me to do was to walk. If I didn't walk, I wasn't going to recover.
Yeah.
I started walking and I could not stand up straight. I could not stand up straight. And for 3 months, I had the worst pain was my back pain. My whole back was just like, it was not, I had no muscles in my back. My body was eating away at all the muscle just to sustain myself. And I had no muscle in my back, no muscle in my legs, no muscle anywhere.
Yeah.
And the one thing I realized that I needed to start eating more and working out because I knew that the muscle was going to help support
Yeah.
so I didn't have that pain.
That was the
And
first time you ever had back pain, right?
that was the first time I've ever even like experience back pain like that.
Yeah. And you were 19 when you were diagnosed?
Yeah.
Chris was jacked, super strong. And the fact that you stayed to lifting the whole time for a number of reasons saved your life,
Mm-hmm.
as you've talked about. One, the muscle mass kept you. You had more weight to lose more without getting super, super weak. And then, even like you said, when you're going through these life altering ailments and injuries, it becomes justified to just rest and do nothing because everything hurts. Your body feels like trash, whether it is a systemic thing of chemo, cancer to that widespread. It was stage 4, as metastasized, was your whole body,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that is just as bad, if not way worse, than what most people in this audience and community go through with debilitating back pain. You felt both. They're different things, but that will to just keep moving and training and go to the gym, even if it's small movements, allows you to brush your teeth. It allows you to feel like I'm not basically comatized. I'm not just bedridden to wait it out, because that brings so many other issues. Part of your back pain, not to take over the story because you're telling it really well, was the fact that after that big surgery, you were chair bound. Like you really could barely do anything, but you started walking. And that was the first time I think we ever saw you and were like, oh wow, this is he went through something super severe. Because we met you after chemo. We got pictures of when we met. The whole team met Chris. You got that zoom out? We met Chris after chemo. His journey's crazy because super, super jacked guy, super strong, always in the gym.
But I was still going through chemo during this time. Yeah, it wasn't as harsh as the beginning, because the beginning I had there was a certain type of chemo I was on where I actually got allergic to it. This is funny.
Oh wow.
So it was it's called oxaliplatin, and they were like pushing it on me, and it was actually like it was doing good killing the cells, but at the same time it was killing my other cells. I would wake up from the chemo just throwing up. I just didn't want to even exist.
Wow.
And I felt like everything was cold. My whole body just felt weird and like ugh. And I just felt so weak. And then I remember one day when I was in the chair getting chemo, I just started like freezing. I felt like I was gonna freeze up.
Wow.
And I was gonna get hyperthermia. But they basically put blankets on me, and then they just said, oh no, your body just is allergic to it.
Wow.
Then they put me on another thing called immunotherapy.
Yeah.
It's when they use your immune system to fight your cancer, and that's when I started actually feeling way better. And it's funny because the muscle mass was allowing the immunotherapy to start fighting harder. So that's when you see me right here. I'm on immunotherapy.
Wow. And he was still strong. Like you went from before the diagnosis and everything, went through chemo, lost some weight, but then built your body back up, and then you went through the surgery. And that was when it was like, whoa, that 24-hour long, how long was it?
Yeah, like 23 and a half hours.
24-hour surgery. They flushed him out with hot chemo. It was removing parts of his organs. And we don't have photos of after that surgery. But you withered away.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was the worst, even worse than the chemo I saw. And that's when you had the back pain.
Yeah, I went from 165 pounds to 100 pounds. Like I had
100.
You could see my every muscle, every like little
vertebrae,
tiny, every little tiny, what's it called, bone in my back. Every bone, you could see it, you could feel it. I would have to get back massages. And I remember Brendan actually he donated a good amount of money to me where I was able to get a massage chair.
Okay, that's what you use it for. Good, that's helpful.
I grabbed the massage chair. That massage chair has been there for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would go on that massage chair because my back would hurt. So I enjoyed that massage. I still have it, and I always use it. Yeah.
Wow.
I use it for like when I recover and stuff. But it's been helpful. But yeah, I remember my dad would force me to walk. I would be like, I don't feel like walking. He's like, Chris, if you don't walk, you're not gonna feel good. So I would be walking. I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna push myself to walk. And I'd walk around the apartment complex a couple of times and then go back. And I'd feel better after. I'd feel better. The eating part was so hard because I couldn't really eat so much because my stomach, they reduced some of it. So it was just hard to eat. But,
and you had what is it called?
A colostomy bag. And that, I was in so much depression that I just didn't want to do nothing. But I knew that if I didn't do it, I wasn't gonna make it to where I am right now.
Yeah.
So I made myself do it. I was like, I know I don't want to do it, but I have to do it. And then I had the 3 months after, I had the surgery for my colostomy to get it reversed so I could go use the restroom. So the colostomy,
People may not know what that
Yeah,
is.
so a colostomy bag is when they get your. I had an ileostomy. It's a similar thing, but they get your intestine and they pull it out of your stomach. So it's like let's say where your abdomen is, they pull out your intestine so you're able to. Yeah,
Excrete digestive
yeah.
waste instead of.
Instead of going to the bathroom normally, you're going through a bathroom through the bag, and during this time, that bag was actually the main thing that was affecting me because I felt like I couldn't really drink anything. I couldn't eat anything. I just always felt disgusting. I felt like I was so disgusting that I would want to throw up every time I like just looked at it. I just wanted to throw up because of how like crazy of a thing it is.
Sight and
Yeah, but people have to live with it for life. So I remember I told myself, okay, it's only 3 months. I just have to give myself the patience and the ability to go through with it because a lot of people lack patience, and I was lacking so much patience right now. I was like, oh my gosh, it's like play the long game. I had to wait. I had to wait because I knew that eventually I was gonna get better. But it was so funny because the patience helped me actually be able to live with the bag. So the last month I was able to live with it, and I felt good. It's so funny because the bag, it wasn't the issue wasn't just having that. It was the fact that I would have to change the bag every day. I had to like learn how to deal with this
yeah,
because I couldn't control how it came out. So sometimes I'll be changing it and I'm in the bathroom and it's just going out over the
explode.
floor and I'm just
Damn.
like frustrated and
Yeah.
I it just felt like a parasite attached to you. You felt like you couldn't do much. I didn't want to go outside. I didn't want to go out in public. I was so ashamed.
Yeah.
But eventually I knew that it was gonna get better. So I put my faith in God. I said, God, just put me through this, and I would pray every day. I would listen to worship music every day. That was the one thing I would do, just pray and listen to worship music. During this time, I didn't want to talk to anyone. I remember my sister and my dad. They would try to talk to me, and I would just look at them and like,
Yeah.
I don't want to talk, and I
Yeah.
was just be in my own head.
You were hurt in every
Hmm.
way, right? Your body was aching head to toe. Right? You felt weak. You didn't look the same. I mean, what did that feel like in those months after the surgery? You're dealing with this. What was your body like? Did you have pain?
I had pain everywhere in my, every single like joint in my body was just in constant pain,
We
and
think that
it's
was chemo, the bed rest, or
it was everything. I was restless. I couldn't sleep. I could sleep for like 2 hours a day, and
wow.
the hot chemo in my system was actually like making me not able to sleep. On
Mm.
top of that, I had no muscles in my body,
Yeah.
so every time I'd move or I would do something, I felt like it just hurt. Like everything
Yeah.
hurt. Like I wasn't myself. And then I had the incision. The incision was hurting a lot too.
So
I
your
couldn't.
core strength and
Yeah,
stability is all gone as well.
yeah. I couldn't stand up. I couldn't even stand up straight. It it took me after my surgery like 5 to 6 months to be able to even like maybe stand up a little straight.
Mm.
But then I started going to the gym and I started, doing pull-ups. I started doing core strength activities.
Start doing the back training
Yeah,
too, right?
the back extensions as well. I do back extensions all the time. Every time I go to the gym, I do back extensions.
Yeah.
I like doing the powerlifting stuff, deadlift, squats, bench, because you're using your body. I like doing push-ups, pull-ups, and I remember I started seeing like my abs come in, my back started coming in, and I felt like I could stabilize myself. I felt
Yeah.
like I could actually move, do stuff. I didn't have no more pain after that.
Yeah.
I still have some things I deal with, but it's so funny because working out is like one of the main things that could heal pretty much most things because people don't realize this, but your muscle mass is an organ. It's a different organ,
Yeah.
and that organ is able to like it's able to make your digestive system, is able to make your every system in your body react better just because you have that much more muscle mass
Yeah.
because your body is strong.
Yeah. It affects your metabolism.
Hmm.
And not to mention, one, if your body feels like trash, him saying training using the gym can fix anything is one, the most fundamental truth in that is just the fact of if you're using the body at the right level, everything is designed to support it better. If you're using joints, synovial fluid comes. If you use muscle, you actually have neuromuscular firing. It keeps it active and firing and the contraction strong. You get circulation through there. Everything stays healthy and limber. The opposite side, when you do nothing, things get tighter, things become avoidant, things ache, it shuts down, And you could just call that age because you tend to slow down through decades. That's up to each person how they live their life. Or you may have to go through something drastic that wasn't your choice, major illness, surgery, major injury that sits you down, and you really get to feel what is it like when you don't move your body for months and you have to rebuild from scratch. Everything hurt. Everything feels punishing and painful. It may even feel like working out isn't the smart thing to do because like it hurts so much. So what kept you sure that even though how bad you felt, the answer wasn't just resting and taking it easy, but actually training these things like the back pain you now had? The back gets taken very serious. If you have pain, it might be like, well, that's a that you may just need to wear a certain brace. You got a massage chair to help with relief, but you still made sure to show up and train it. So, despite how bad you felt, what kept you sure that training was going to help you?
I just listened to a lot of people on the internet, a lot of doctors. I would say a lot of doctors like talk about, oh, if you're not sustaining your body with if your body doesn't have any muscle, how is it gonna support anything you're doing? Like I would always see like the videos of like, like when you're training for like let's say a job, and they're like, oh, you have to carry something to have perfect form. It's not necessarily
Right.
having perfect form. It's having the muscles able to
Support
support you, because I could be a stick right now, and I'm not gonna be able to run and jump because I don't have any muscles. But
Gravity's going to
yeah,
beat you, no
hmm
matter how good your form is.
yeah. But once you have that muscle, you're able to. And it's so funny because like I was just I was just interested. I was like, why do humans have like why do we have like butts and other animals don't? Because we're bipedal. We walk. We have
Mm,
that muscle to support us, and it's like the most basic thing that people just don't really want to, like, they don't want to exercise their muscles. And it's like you have to do some sort of movement. We're not beings made to sit down
yeah,
all day. We're made to hunt, we're made to gather.
yeah,
We run, we're made to do all that stuff. We're not meant to just stay stagnant in one area.
yeah.
And I think that just knowing that, like, all this research that I've done by myself, because I was, I want to look for answers, and seeing all this research, I realized, like, look, if muscle mass saved my life in the surgery, I'm pretty sure if I do it again, I'm gonna get I'm gonna get good results from working out.
Yeah.
And it was funny because every time I would go and work out, I felt better about myself every day. So I would just work out just because I felt like I was doing something positive in my life.
Yeah, and it did. I mean, we you did a good job explaining how the transgression of each step of your recovery was and the procedures you had to do and what it was like, but you didn't even really explain just how uncertain it
Hmm.
was supposedly of the prognosis of these things, of
Yeah.
what was going to happen. Like it wasn't a guarantee that you were supposed to survive according
Hmm.
to just stats. Like you really were in a
Yeah.
really tough diagnostic place. Like you had a serious case.
Yeah. I had to put a lot of my faith in Christ right now, because this is when, before my surgery, they were telling me that they didn't know if the surgery was even gonna succeed. They didn't know if they were gonna even be able to get some of the cancer. I remember my surgeon saying, "Chris, look, these are all the risks, and these risks are high. These risks are high of the surgery not working, of us not being able to get all the cancer out, or we might even have to close you up in the middle of it because it might be too dangerous to proceed with the surgery." And I remember I told in the beginning, when I first got told about the surgery, I told my surgeon, I don't want to do the surgery just yet. I just want to wait. I want to wait, and I want to build more muscle. And we were gonna do it the time when I went to visit you. It was gonna be during that time, November,
Yeah.
but I pushed it out to I think it was February. I said, no, let's push it out as far as we can. So they said February would be a good day, and I just put my faith in Christ. And it was so funny because during this time, the treatment was actually working super good, super
Just
good.
the normal chemo
Yeah,
before the surgery.
it was the
Oh,
immunotherapy. Yeah,
immunotherapy.
yeah. So the immunotherapy was just going crazy on it, and they were
Yeah.
like, every CT scan, they're like, there's shrinkage.
Wow.
And then they said, okay, we have this date, February 7th for you. And it was so funny because the CT scan right before, they were like, oh, it kind of stagnated.
Mm.
So they were like, this is perfect time. And I remember before the surgery, I was like so nervous. I was so scared. But I was like, you know what, God, I can't do anything about it. I'm gonna just give it to you. If it's your will, you're gonna be able to. You're gonna heal. You're gonna heal me. And I went into the surgery, and I came out, and I woke up, and I was like, how much did you guys get out? They said 100% of everything, and it was so crazy because this is a year after they told me I was gonna die in a year, and I'm alive 2 years later.
Yeah.
We're here, and that's what it is. It's just having faith. I feel like if you have the any type of faith, you're gonna be able to go a long way because if you tell yourself that you can't do it, I'm pretty sure your brain like sends chemicals to your body to like not want to do it.
Every cell is listening to you.
But if you say you can, your body's gonna be able to fight. It's gonna have the will to fight.
Yeah, man. I want to try to find the video of, maybe you have it on your phone, the video right after surgery. I remember seeing that right off of the operating table. Say, guys, we did it.
I have it.
Like, you just ran an ultra marathon. You can find it. It'd be super good for people to see.
I'm gonna send it to you.
And we followed it for over a year. We're rooting for him, praying for him, just talking to him and pouring as much belief as we can, and just the faith of healing. And he was doing all the work, but it was like,
it was hard.
this was and you did such a good job documenting the whole thing. You showed, sometimes you would just make videos of like, guys, I'm struggling.
Yeah,
like, it's really overwhelming.
I wanted to document it because I knew that there was people that were following me that they went through the same thing, and there's people that like I go to the gym. There's this guy that's like, I'm getting the same surgery as you. The reason he even got that surgery recommended is because he asked about it.
Wow.
Because he saw me get it. There's people that ask their surgeons about the surgery I got, and I know people that went through it and it saved their life, and they only got it because they saw my video.
Chills. That gives me chills because that's just the power of sharing your story. You never know who needs to hear what you went through, even if it's just struggle.
Yeah, I'm gonna send you the video. I got it.
Try to airdrop me that or something.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I'm sending it to your messages.
Okay.
But it's one of those things where it's like you don't realize that these things are gonna help other people, but people watch you, and if you're going through, like, here, I had the NG tube in my nose. That NG tube was so annoying.
This is him right after surgery. 24 hours.
I just got done with surgery.
Right. It was like not even like an hour after.
I'm in pain right now, but we did it, guys. I gotta have this tube down my nose for like 3 days.
Oh, that tube.
Today has been day 1, so 2 more days. Guys, I can't even imagine it, man. Like, it's been a year, and we did it, guys. We beat that.
Woo!
Stage 4 cancer, brother. Stage 4 cancer.
My God.
I remember.
Yo.
I remember.
We love you so much, man. I like almost start crying because I remember how happy I was on this day, bro. Like, when you know someone that's going through something and you care about them so much, you don't want to ever put doubt in them. But, like, there was times I'm like, man, he's actually facing something I don't think I could ever imagine or handle. And it would look like bleak sometimes on paper. Mm-hmm. You had faith the whole time, but I remember talking to them like, I need this surgery to go well for him. Like, holy shit, he's going through so much. And the fact it all worked out the way it did, and then you're sitting here and we're reflecting on it. Seeing that video reminded me of that day. I remember just pouring out 1 billion heart comments. I'm just like,
I remember that.
Because I would never show fear or doubt to you, but I was going through the emotions that you were overcoming too. Everyone that cared about you was just like, please let this just like be the time that he can coast. Because it was like 1.5 years of the chemo and then the immunosuppressants, and then you're building and you're trying to fight through it, but then you would have a bad week and it'd be wrecking you in the chemo, and we just watched the whole thing, and you're a kid, like you're 19. And that day was just so special, bro. So there's a lot of people really, really inspired by your story, really moved. You've had transformations. Like, we've seen you 3 different times. Go from a beast, lose all the muscle, get strong as shit again, lose the muscle, get stronger than me again. We're like, in the time period of me trying to just get back after a little hip tweak or something, Chris has been working his transformation like crazy, bro. So
It's like the Fuzzy Tube transformation. He just gets.
just back and forth, man. So much love for you. Thank you for being here, telling this story. I'm so inspired by you, dude. Like, and knowing you throughout it, like you really are exactly as you portray, and you just shared the most raw part of you. Like you could have died.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, my faith, it's been up and down. I feel like that's the worst thing that like it affected was my faith. You know, there's times where you're uncertain about stuff and you're crying. I'm by myself and I'm like, I would always be crying by myself. I didn't know if I was gonna live. Every night of when I had cancer, I would cry. I didn't know what to do. I was like, I'm lost. I would try to make these videos and I would try to like, I would try to do stuff and like I would just be at home and my family is there and they're living their lives and I would just be like, dang, like I just want to be healthy again. I just want to be able to know that I could live a normal life again. And after that surgery, there was days where I was in pain. I would be crying then too because I was in so much pain. But I was like, you know what? I'm alive. I'm alive. That's the thing. I'm alive. This is just the little what's it called? It's just something that I have to go through right now.
Let's test a bit.
Yeah, a little test, a little
formation of who you are. In the grand scheme, such a defining 2 years, but you have such a long, powerful life now and a testament and a story that you know how to share so well. And you've already helped so many people. And it's like, you're never grateful to, well, it's hard to be grateful during it when you're going through it. But you're very grateful once it's all said and done and you're a better person and you can reflect on it and you become a beacon of hope for other people. That's the only reason I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I love that I went through it because it shaped me now. I'm grateful for everything. I don't see things as, oh, I just have it,
Yeah.
Everything that I'm able to do right now, I'm thankful. I'm thankful to even be able to breathe, to be able to walk, run, jump, stuff like that. People don't realize how good they have it, until they lose it. And I felt like when I lost it, I was like, dang, like all these things that I could just do. Eating, I used to.
We used to eat back in the day.
I used to eat, and then during that time, I was like, I can't eat. So now when I eat, I want to eat things that are delicious, that are like, stuff that I can make at home, like cooking. A lot of people don't take that for granted. They just go out and eat. No, I like eating food that's good. I just tastes good, feels good, and it's like the best thing ever. Running, working out. Now every time I go to work out, I'm like, yes, I get to work out. I'm just loving it even 10, 20 times more now because I couldn't move during that time. I couldn't work out. I couldn't even lift a weight. Yeah. If I lifted a weight during that time, I would have probably exploded.
Literally, it collapsed.
Yeah.
And this is so important for people to see. I know this is like a niche episode of such a specific healing story, but what Chris is talking about is everything that chronic injury also puts you through. Maybe not as extreme and not as life or death and uncertain. If anything, it's a good perspective shift for everyone to drop all the overthinking out of your head of, is it possible to heal a herniated disc without surgery? Like, is it possible for stage 4 advanced stage 4 advanced cancer that really had no good prognosis came into full remission through so many different things he had to do? People are like, they get caught in their own suffering, and it's understandable. The pain is so real. It's unending. It's through the entire day and night. You can't sleep. But if it's back pain and you can still walk, but you just have pain when you squat or deadlift, I get it sucks. But you got a lot more that you can do than that which you can't, and you got to focus on that. There was a point where Chris was coming back from his rebuild. All he could do was walk. And I remember those videos with that occupational therapist that would come to your house, and you would literally stand up and do a band like this, like you're an 85-year-old, and sit down and then pick up your leg. And that was your rebuild for the first month. That's all you could do. And you were hyped, posting it like, day 1 of the rebuild, I'll be back. That's the mentality that keeps you going to the next thing, to the next thing, to the next thing, to the next thing. And if people can see that's the real game, doesn't matter what you're going through, you have to try. You have to exhaust what's in your control. it prevents the overthinking about, oh, but can back injuries really heal without surgery? Maybe it's genetics, or maybe it's unlucky. It's like just stay focused, have faith, put in the work, and yeah, just get out of your own head. And that's why it's such a powerful thing to hear someone younger than me. You're now what, 21?
22 now.
22. This guy's getting old. Damn, you're almost an unk. 6 years younger than me, and went through something that had so much more uncertainty. I always struggled with my injuries through the whole teenage years and 20s, but my health was always pretty secure, and my future was there. Even if it was in physical pain, it was like I didn't have my existence in question. And hearing you go through that is just like, throughout it helped a lot with us dealing with our stuff. We have shoulder issues, or trying to fix a nagging hip thing, or I want to get back to sports and sprinting, but I have to go slow and be patient. And then you remember, like, yeah, but you also have your friend Chris, who literally is starting back with 10 stand-ups from the chair for rehab because he couldn't even walk. And yeah, it's the same game. So even though this is a podcast, it's really more about healing and the mental game that comes in it, the long game mentality, the faith that's required, your most testing day. And anyone can learn from you in that realm, man. So
Yeah, I think patience is the one thing that really helped. I think people that are going through something, they want it fixed the next day. They're like, I need something that, and that's when they want to do surgeries. But then these surgeries aren't even able to fix you entirely.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you're gonna have other issues coming from the surgery.
Imagine
So-
you did no work and you just got that surgery. Even for not a structural injury, for your actual cancer, if you just waited and got that invasive surgery,
Yeah.
who's to say it would have even worked the same?
Yeah, it probably wouldn't. I'm pretty sure it wouldn't have, and I'm pretty sure I would have still been here trying to figure something out. And if you put in the work right now, especially with like the back pain stuff, if you're able to do the ISO holds, you know, and you're like, well, I can't do a back extension. We'll just start with the ISO hold. That ISO hold is gonna make your back able to start. Okay, now I'm using this back muscle, and then you're able to progress. In the beginning, I wasn't able to deadlift when I went to the gym. I was only able to do certain, things. I didn't even go into the gym until I was able to do 80 push-ups, 80
Wow.
to 100 push-ups, not in a row, but
Yeah.
And then once I was able to like 80 to 100 push-ups a day, I was like, okay, let me go back into the gym to start lifting weights, because I was like, I'm not ready for this. I'm gonna take it at my step, at my pace.
And before the entire thing, when you were at your strongest years ago, how strong were you on some of the lifts, like deadlifts, for example?
Yeah, my deadlift was like at 500 something pounds, like 515.
So you went from 515 deadlift, had the stage 4 cancer, became bedridden, 24-hour surgery, could barely walk. Now you step foot in the gym for the first time. How strong was your low back that day?
I could barely like deadlift like 25 on each side maybe, and that's like, and I was like being careful because I was like, okay, I don't want to hurt myself, so I was just being careful. The back extensions were really good because I was like, okay, I could do something.
Yeah, exactly.
I could do something. I was doing a lot of the ISO holds, back extensions,
Right.
and I did that, and it did help me. I was able to do push-ups. Okay, let me do push-ups. Let me get some weights and just do whatever.
Yeah.
And now this is like 6 months ago, and right now I could deadlift like 365 pounds. That was my PR yesterday.
That was really only 6 months ago?
Yeah, 6 months ago when I started going back into the gym.
And now you just deadlifted what?
365.
This guy's as strong as me. Maybe stronger. What the fuck?
And I'm like, but I told myself, I'm not even gonna focus on getting strong. I'm not gonna focus on even getting big. I'm just gonna focus on doing what I need to do, just work out.
Yeah.
And I think when I took it day by day, it made me so much more appreciative of what I could do.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh look, I could do this.
Yeah.
I'm able to do a pull up now. Let's go. I did a
Respect.
pull up today.
Yeah.
It made all those little tiny victories so much sweeter.
Yeah.
And if I'm just thinking about, oh, I want to be here, and I'm like, I'm not there yet. I'm not there. You're not gonna be satisfied with anything.
Agreed. Especially when you've tasted it before. A big predicament that people go through is when they've been really strong, or an athlete, they go through the back injuries and have a surgery or been bedridden, and they're like a shell of themselves. They'll go from 180 pounds and really strong to 150, and they feel awful and they're weak. And it's like, you saw your body like action figure level, and then genuine malnourished, like he's a stick, looks like from genocidal level. Like you literally saw the extremes and climb back up. How did you stay? How did you stay focused in that? Did it kind of eat at you when you were rebuilding from the beginning, or are you just so down for the journey that you don't care?
I remember I told myself, I remember I told myself that when I started going to the gym that I wasn't gonna be the same, and I told myself, you know what, I'm gonna just start a new journey, just do a new
Mm,
journey. I'm not gonna focus on the old me because that's in the past. Why am I gonna focus on that?
good
And
mentality.
I just started this new journey, and I'm literally like yesterday I got the PR. I was like, yes, I was like,
Yep.
let's go.
Yep.
I was so hyped because I got it, but I knew I was able. I know I'm able to do 500 pounds, but I'm not looking at that
You're
and
on a
being
new
like,
journey.
yeah, I'm on a new journey. This is something else, and I'm in this journey now with Jesus. Like
Mm.
I started focusing more on my my walk with Christ and everything, and that's just made me be more patient, be more loving to the fact that I'm able to even be here because this is a blessing for me. I could be dead right now, but I'm not. Like if I had that mentality where I'm like I'm not where I was before, it's like would you even be here right now?
Right.
It's like I'm here right now. I'm able to share my testimony. I'm able to share my faith right now with everyone. I'm able to talk about what I went through, and I'm not here. I'm
Yeah.
here now,
Yeah.
and I could have been in like 6 feet underground right now, and people would have never heard about me. People would have never heard my story. People would have just like glanced, oh, this dude had cancer and he died. But no, I didn't want that to be the end of my story. And I remember I told God, like, God, if you could heal me, I just want to live for you now. And I think after I went through everything, I'm trying to live more for Christ. And I think that that's going to help me in my journey because I'm not thinking about doing all of this for vanity. I'm not looking at my body all the time. I'm not looking. I used to look at myself and take flexing pictures, like, oh yeah, look. I don't look at that no more. I don't look at my strength as some like, yeah, I like posting my videos when I do hit a PR because it's fun, but I'm not looking at that and saying, oh, I gotta be the strongest person ever. I gotta be this. No, I just want to do my own thing. I just want to have my own story, and I feel like that's the beauty of it. You're your own person. You shouldn't be comparing yourself to other people. You should only compare yourself. You shouldn't compare yourself at all to anything. You should just live your life and say, this is what I could do right now.
Mm.
I'm gonna do it. And if you have goals, go for them, but
Yeah.
don't make your existence that goal.
Yeah.
Live day by day just to live and just to be happy. And I think that me, finding Christ, I live day by day just to like, promote positivity, promote love and joy. I don't like living my day to day life and being stressed, being hateful. I think a lot of people right now they hate what they're doing, they hate what's happening to them, but if you just stop hating and start loving the things that you're able to do, it's gonna make your day to day life way better.
Yeah. And it's interesting how that can trigger some people to hear that, but you got to remember who's speaking. Like, this is somebody who's had everything stripped away. All the illusion of things that should matter got taken away, and the only things that were here to matter is the breath you still held, the faith you had to keep going, and the hope that it could get better, and gratitude. You were just like, wow, at least I'm still even in the fight.
Hmm.
So if someone's gonna say, "Oh, it's easy for you guys to say," or "You're young," or "It's this," nope, nope. He touched the level where every other excuse is gone, and this is the wisdom that's found in that, and that's why it's so potent to learn from you because you're gonna gain more problems with the blessings of opportunity and things that come in your life. You gain responsibilities. People talk about it. Well, once you have kids and once you have a big career, it's like those are all blessings. So of course they come with a little bit of burden. That's the weight of carrying them. But it is a blessing to even be troubled by some of these stresses, and we can forget that and forget that this is the stress that comes with the blessing, not to mention the fact it's a blessing in the first place. At least I have a job to stress about. At least I have goals that I'm frustrated I'm not reaching. At least I have a body that allows me to strive still. And it's inevitable. It's part of the human condition that we can forget how fortunate we are to complain.
I even I made a video where I was like, I pray to God for more strength, and He stripped away what I thought was one strength, but He gave me strength in my mind. He gave me strength in my mentality and what I could do, and I'm grateful that I even went through what I went through, because I don't think I would have been the person I am right now without going through everything.
Yeah.
And I think that's a blessing in itself. I don't want to see that as why did I have to go through this? It's like, I could say that all I want, but is it going to change the fact that I went through it?
Right.
No, I have to find the good in everything. And I think that's when you start loving living, is when you start finding the good in everything.
Mm-hmm.
Because people will try to find the work. I'm at work. I have to work for 5-6 hours today. I'm so mad. I have to work. It's like, instead of saying that, be like, okay, I just got a couple more hours left. I'm going to get paid so I could support my family.
Yeah.
It's a blessing. I'm able to live in this country, in America. It's a blessing. I could be living right now in, like the middle of
Syria.
Yeah, Syria.
A place
Say
that's in a
Syria.
tough place.
Yeah, and like what's it called? In the Middle East right now, there's a bunch of wars going on. I could be living there.
Palestine.
Yeah, Palestine. I could be going through. I've seen videos of these kids literally crying for food, and I'm here and I'm able to eat, and it's like, who am I to complain about? Oh, I only have a bowl of cereal right now. Who am I to complain about that?
Yeah.
I'm no one. I'm no one to complain about that. I literally have no excuse to complain about anything, because I could be in the worst situations right now, getting persecuted for what I believe in. But no, I'm here, able to talk about what I want to freely. Yeah. I'm able to eat what I want to. I'm able to go and explore the world. And there's people that don't even have that chance. So who am I to talk? Who am I to complain?
Yeah. And that energy itself is healing. It's grounding. Like, you could say it's just perspective, and someone could argue why you are limited. Well, no, you can't really do some of these things, or, well, times are changing, and there's different levels of truth. Something may be true in that there is real hardship going on, there is real pain and injury, and there's things you can't do. But there's a higher truth, which is like, you have agency of mind. You still have thoughts that you can work with and control and ignore or promote. You do have things you can offer to others and find service that is going to help you feel better. Like, you are truly a vessel of so much good, and it's helping so many people, and you've chosen to be that way. You could have went through the same exact thing you went through and completely hid it, or not talked about it, or just went through it silently, or came out with resentment or pessimism. The ironic thing is, your outcome probably would have been different. I do believe it might be survivorship bias of my own journey, and you as well, but when you go through things with the mentality of using it to help others and being of service, your outcome in the adversity you go through is better. Mm-hmm. And I find that within members in our community and our back program, and the people that try to help others along the journey too, they tend to have a lighter heart, a better recovery, a better feeling of their journey, and they handle the setbacks better. They heal faster.
Yeah, I remember I posted a video where I was talking about, this journey was good for me, and then someone in my comments was like, "Oh, you're just why are you using this to cope?" It's like,
you could call it that.
I just wanna have a positive outlook on this. I don't wanna be in my bed wallowing away. I mean, why do I have to be sad about this? Mm-hmm. Why do I have to be? Is it like, oh, I went through this, now you have to be sad about it? No. Yeah. I could be happy about things too.
Yeah, people might call it delusion or toxic optimism. It's not. Saying it's cope is like he's controlling his frame of mind and spirit to not get swayed into spiraling and snowballing, and especially when everything on paper justifies you having a bad day. Imagine you were going through everything you went through, physically in pain, you're shriveled up like 100 pounds, you lost so much muscle, so much weight, your body aches, you're still going through chemo, everything hurts. If you had a bad attitude, no one would be like, what's this guy's problem? They'd be like, oh, it makes sense, he's having a bad day, he deserves to feel upset. And you decide, I also have the right not to. and I'm just going to choose to not. And it proves the point that if someone's mad at that choice, why are you pretending like things are all good and you're happy? That's exactly what we're talking about. Some people are inevitably wired to try to find the pessimism in something, and it's sad. It's a sickness that has gone so deep they don't see it, and it keeps you stuck. I remember when I was injured in the worst of the loops, I was angry as hell. Like, I was always super resentful at other people my age who weren't injured. I'm 22 in college. Everyone on the sports teams, I'm low key like just frustrated that they're healthy and I'm not because I work harder. So if I had their bodies, I would use more of it, but they take it for granted and they don't even know how good they have it. Meanwhile, that whole energy is why I always trained too hard in the first place, tried to play catch up and to prove my worth in training. I wasn't calm and patient. I ignored my body. That was the anger and frustration that kept me doing the wrong things and kept me hurt in the first place. It's why I couldn't sleep. It's why I was so stressed out. And that bad mentality led to my bad outcomes as well. So it always makes sense. I know so many people in my life. My grandmother's super sweet. She's the most grateful person. She's also been through more than anyone I know in her own life. All her siblings died. Her dad died as a child. Didn't even have her mom. Tons of stuff. My grandfather, her first child, passed away. She was super young mother. Like, tragedy, 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 tragedy. She is by far, unequivocally, the most grateful, grounded, peaceful woman ever. And it's just like she's super healthy and she's well into her 80s. None of that trauma forged her DNA to be unhealthy. And I've just seen too many examples of that. And then the opposite. People who you could have them win the lottery. They'll find something to complain about the next day. They'll be pissed off for something. And they always have a sinus infection, at least, if not worse.
And I think for me, having human interactions really uplifted me during this whole time. Just I know I wouldn't talk that much at home with my family because they already knew what I was going through. So,
Right.
you know, the only thing they could say is like, oh, like we want to help, but we can't. You know, I wouldn't. I'm like, I'm not blaming you guys. I know you guys can't help. This is something I have to go through. But I remember like when I would feel good and I would go to Target or I would go somewhere and someone would recognize me, like a friend, hey, what's up, Chris? How you been? We're catching up. Made me feel so much better. In that moment, I didn't even feel pain. I just felt like I just felt love because someone's coming and someone I know is talking to me. They want to see me. People would text me, "Oh, can I visit you?" They would visit me. We would just be talking for a couple hours. The best couple hours I had that day.
Yeah, man. Love is the answer, and we can go so far. Let's get real crazy. The examples of what love means to me. I feel like love is intentional attention. If you can bring intent to something and give it attention with good spirit, that is expressing love in people. But even like, this may sound like a lame correlation, but loving your body, loving an injured area, going on the back extension machine where you're always afraid and saying, I'm going to do just a little hold and feel the muscles work. I'm bringing intention. I'm thinking about it in a good way, and I'm giving it attention and I'm working it. I'm not ignoring it. That's a loving act to your body of, I'm grateful I have a back. Let me use my back. Same for any area of your body you're injured. Even though it's scary and it hurts, I'm going to give it a little bit of work. I'm going to give it blood flow. I'm going to give it attention. I'm going to feel something. That is the anatomy equivalent of a hug to a loved one. That is expressing love, and that's why it feels so good.
But it's true. Like, even my girlfriend, because I'm not one to, like, I'm not going to, like, I'm not going to go and, like, do a skincare routine. But she tells me, Chris, like, get to upkeep with yourself.
She's putting you in masks. You got clay. She's putting cucumbers on your eyes.
Yeah,
You're doing masks with her now?
She's making me do these things, but she's like, she tells me, women do these things because they want to look good. They want to love themselves. They want to have love. And if you're taking care of yourself, that shows that you love yourself. If you don't take care of yourself, it just shows that you don't care about yourself.
Yeah.
And you don't love yourself.
It's true. And especially once you form a bad relationship like this colostomy, you almost started to hate yourself. And that's why it felt so heavy and bad and negative.
That was the one thing. I was starting to hate myself. And once I started accepting it, I was like, this is going to be there for right now. I started to enjoy life again.
Yeah.
I was eating whatever. I was eating a bunch. I remember the first full meal I had because I was on his medication work because I couldn't eat, and I'm on his. Even now I still need the medication. And it helps me eat. And I remember when I finally was able to eat again. I got a crab boil. I was I was
Boy, it was
eating.
cracking down.
I was cracking the crabs. Oh, I love crab. Yeah, so I'm just
The
eating a
bib
bunch of
and everything.
I'm just eating a bunch of crab and just seafood, and I'm just enjoying myself. I'm like, let's go. I'm eating. I'm loving it. And once I started to accept this bag was when I was starting to be able to enjoy my life again. And I was going now. I started going to the gym again. I started doing stuff, but it was because I stopped hating myself and I
Yeah.
started accepting it.
Yeah, and you can apply that to anything. I mean, once you hate your bad back, oh, it's gonna be sensitive. It's gonna feel against you, and there's so many parallels. We can go in any direction. Practically, you could go to. It's not that kind of podcast, but I don't care. This is your episode, and this is true. Like within faith and the relationship with God that you have, and what you've learned through it, it all brings back to love and
Mhm.
awareness and stillness, and like that's the core nature of healing. What we're trying to do medically when we intervene to a chronically degrading tissue and the back breaking down is we're trying to stop whatever's going wrong and get out of the way so the body can do what it naturally wants to do, which is heal. It's an act of love and homeostasis. It knows how to take care of itself. It's a expression of love, in my opinion. That's how I view it. And when you get off track there and it feels like your body's attacking itself and things just aren't going right and you have pain when you shouldn't, it feels like your body's against itself. It's just confused. And you remove the confusion, you get back to gratitude and you get things working a little bit better. You support it medically or through training or holistically, find whatever you need. The body starts working better again. The injuries stop having such a chronic loop to them. You reform the pathways of pain, stops being so sensitive. You get circulation, blood flow, nutrients get through there. Everything's starting to restore and feel normal again.
Mhm.
That's where you wake up and you breathe and you walk in the first few steps of the day like, oh, I'm not in pain. This is a new life. Oh, I love life again. I forgot I loved life. And
Yeah.
it's the same thing what you went through.
Yeah, I remember during my recovery, I would think about Jesus Christ on the cross because there's like if you watch a movie about, Jesus dying on the cross, it doesn't do it justice to the extent of how gruesome his, crucifixion was. They were saying that they could he all his organs were spilling out. You couldn't really tell if he was a man or a woman because of how brutally he was beaten.
Wow.
And I was like, you know what? Jesus knows my pain right now. He's been through that pain. So I was just like, you know what? If anyone's gonna get me through it, God can, because God knows that He's not gonna give me something that I can't take. So I just went through with it, and I just felt so good after. And now I look back and I'm like, I really went through something, but I laugh at what I went through. And I feel like right now you might be going through something so bad, which is, it could be back pain, maybe even knee pain, maybe it's shoulder pain. But if you're patient enough, eventually you're going to look back at it and be like, I remember when I couldn't even do this, and I'm laughing. There's a dude at my gym who has shoulder pain, and he warms up, warms up his shoulder every day.
Some of these.
Yeah, and he works out. He's never, I never see him complaining about it. I ask him, why are you always warming up that right shoulder? It's because this shoulder has pain, but I warm it up. I feel good after. That's what a lot of people don't do. They don't give themselves the time to do things. They don't give themselves the time to warm up before workout. They don't want to give themselves the time to recover, to rehabilitate. They just want everything right now. And I think it's because we're so used to just getting this, like we wake up, we're on our phones. We get instant pleasure from scrolling. People are so used to just having that instant gratification. They just want everything instantly.
Yeah. And the real magic's in process.
Mm-hmm.
Process is where everything heals. Like that's what you learn if you've been humbled enough to be stopped in your life to where you can't have anything instant and everything's in question. All your life is process. Now all I do is warm up because I can't lift. I'm so hurt. All I do is the exercises to make it feel a little better. And then for you, all you could do is sit down, pray, reflect. You had to slow down. And all of those things are process, not outcome. You pray, you didn't have complete remission the next day, but you held faith and you went stronger through it. You went through rehab and you start training something very slowly. It didn't reabsorb a disc or heal a torn labrum or completely fix something that next day, but you got stronger in the process. And the process is what you miss. Like that word sounds like a buzzword, but it's the state of going through. And everything you just described of the instant is skipping the state of going through. I open my phone. I'm so big on this. Like, I don't even use my real phone. I have a flip phone, and I delete all the apps on that. And I'm hoping in the next year or two I'm like phoneless, because I felt how it warps my brain on everything. And I'm sickened by it. But it's a microcosm for so many things that are happening in life and society, how straight away we are from natural living. And I'm not even the holistic hippie, I like some modern things, but that mentality really doesn't work with the body, especially if you're trying to fix something. It's the same reason why the most searched videos on YouTube for back pain are instant relief stretches, 30-second fix, is because we're wired to try to skip process. We don't want to even think about the idea of it being a long time or a lot of work, and we want to just get the outcome. And that's what got you in this problem in the first place, ignoring how your body felt, ignoring the work to be done, putting it off till later. And usually people have to get humbled so much that there's nothing left to do but fruitless process. I don't even see the fruit of this labor. I'm just going to become the person who does the work. And to me, that's what play the long game is. You don't play for the outcome. You play to become a better player, and you love that process.
Yeah.
And the outcome gets better.
It's like when you're playing a video game, like you're playing the game and you're enjoying playing the game, but when you finish the game,
you don't even care anymore, really.
Yeah.
You ever get cheat codes, like how meaningless the game gets? If like you had a Pokemon game and you just found a cheat to make them all level 100, like you don't even like the game anymore.
Yeah, it's just boring. You have to enjoy every step of the way. Literally enjoy everything. The pain, enjoy it. Enjoy everything, because one day you're going to look back and be like, this is what shaped me. This is who I am. You're not the outcome, you're the journey.
Yeah.
Because if you think that you're just, I'm like
the
people,
accolades, the achievements.
Yeah, let's look at someone like, let's say Steve Jobs. He was a wealthy man, but no one knows him because he had a lot of money. People know him because of what he built.
Yeah.
Let's say Jesus Christ. People don't know him because he's God. People know him because of what he did and what he went through. Yeah. He died for our sins. He did all these miracles, not just because he
became an embodiment of God. Like there was a symbol based on what he displayed and who he was, and none of that is about like just the outcomes of things. Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, it's not because he's God. Yeah, why are we worshiping him? It's because of what he did. Exactly. And people want to just have all this, I wish I could just be rich. I wish I could just be this and that. But the journey is what we like to see. Why do you think we watch documentaries and all that? Because we want to see the journey. We want to see what happened. Yeah. We don't care about what you are right now. It's like, okay, we want to see why.
Yeah. There's nothing to learn from idolization. When you just revere where someone's at, you're like, dang, I want to be who's a mega celebrity. I wish I had Drake's life. No, you don't really. You don't know what that's like, and you don't know if you really want that. But it can be sold and glamorized to this, damn, what I don't have is there, and I'm currently here. All my problems would be solved. You don't really learn anything from that. You don't actually want that. But what does move you is if you see someone who reminds you of yourself, display step by step by step how they went from hell to heaven. Like they really climbed through so many stages of existence in their life and setbacks and overcoming that. It's like, oh wow, that's actually possible. And you see the test of your like soul, your spirit. Like you could just go through your timeline on Instagram and it's basically a documentary. And you'll see the days where you were just lifting, doing great, then the boom, biggest setbacks ever, testing your spirit of who you are. Then the little breakthroughs of, okay, I think we might get better. We're going to try this new experimental treatment. it's not really working, it's wrecking you, and you're like getting just thrown around in who you know yourself to be. And over this 3 year span, now you are where you're at. And if I ask you today, Chris, who are you? It's not about who you're sitting here today. I'm Chris. I'm 150 pounds and I bench press 275. No, you're like, I know exactly who I am because of the whole process and evolution of what you went through and what it tested and what it revealed yourself to be. So it's this may sound very esoteric and out there and like, not tangible, but it is. If you get hurt enough in injury, you're going to realize this is a spiritual journey. You're getting tested on who are you. And if you lose everything you used to pride yourself on, your strengths, your flex, who you think you are visually, how grounded are you when you lose all those things? Do you know who you are now? Because if you don't, just know you never really were those things. You just thought you were. Now you're going to find out who you really are. And as you rebuild like you have over the past 2-3 years, now you're going to be stronger than you were before, but you're going to know who you really are on a different level.
Yeah. Or like, would you be where you're at right now if you never got that back injury, if you never got that?
No, dude. No one would really care about me if I got what I wanted. Do you know what I wanted instead of becoming a lowbackability and helping people in this way? I just wanted to be a pro athlete. And I think about that. Like, if I just became a pro soccer player at age 20 and I got my dream, even if I was one of the world's biggest pro soccer players, but even if I just made it pro, that would be such a fraction of the depth and quality of relationships and impact I've had on people. Now, if you're really big and your story's inspiring, you can motivate people. Ronaldo's helped lots of people, I guess. I'm sure people say, Ronaldo, you saved my life. How? I don't know. But, like, it's really moving. I love Ronaldo. Don't get me wrong. But I have folders, like thousands of people saying, you've saved my life, and an essay of tangibly how. It's not like a reach. It's not like your lyrics resonated. It was, no, literally, if I didn't do what you told me to do because of what you went through and what you learned, there's 0% chance I would have chose that path. Just like you, helping people now know different ways of treating this specific cancer that you had, which was pretty rare. You just opened up a whole new wealth of knowledge and experience in something that if it weren't for you vocalizing, having hundreds of thousands of followers and talking to people and sharing your story, it may not have really reached those people and their outcomes might have been different.
Or like I went to the grocery store the other day and someone came up to me and they were talking about how they were pre-diabetic and that the only reason why they got out of even having diabetes was because they started working out because they saw my videos on how working out helped me beat cancer. Yeah. And they were like, I started working out and the guy looked fit. He was telling me he was like 300 something pounds. They were going to chop off his leg. Oh,
wow.
Yeah, and he didn't know what to do. He looked at my videos and, he started going on a good diet. He started working out and now he's good.
Gave him that energy. You gave away his excuses and had him.
Yeah, and that made me so happy. I was like, you know what? It makes me want to just keep going, keep posting and keep doing things for other people.
Yeah, man. It's a foolproof way to make sure you're using your time and experiences here well is to just be authentic, share the good and the bad, and just be real. We talk off camera all the time about social media and content and all this stuff, and none of that really guarantees a business. None of that guarantees impact, and it's because that stuff doesn't necessarily correlate to your why, and you have such a good grasp on the important things, and that stuff really does stick with people, and it's what you build something out of, So, yeah, man, this was really cool. This was a good convo. It's so dope that you came. We're going to go train a little bit, train his back, go run, use the bodies that I'm pain-free, injury-free, you're pain-free, injury-free. Look at this. We would have never thought. And just hope that energy spilt out to whoever needed it, wherever they're at. It's super, super dope. You had enough back pain to know how much it messes people up.
I told Brendan, like, I remember I texted him, I was like, bro, I did not know that people would actually want to,
end their life.
Yeah, end their life because of the back pain. But I went through that back pain. I was like, you know what? This is true. This isn't something that he's just making up.
Yeah, you went through it deep. I remember getting that text. I was like, you have what? back. Oh my God, you don't need back pain too. But yeah, man, thank you for sharing your story and being so raw and real with people. And we're all really proud of you. Love you a ton.
I appreciate you, Brendan.
Want to see you keep going. You're like a little brother to us, and we're gonna make sure that you never forget how powerful you are and your story. I know you're deeply rooted in that and your faith, and you never forget. But yeah, you just helped some people by sharing this. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Good stuff. Killer.